Welcome to this side event being hosted in the run-up to the Nutrition for Growth Summit. This side event is co-hosted by the Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition, Access to Nutrition Initiative, the UN World Food Programme, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. This webinar will aim to look at the importance of SMEs in the private sector and will also afford our speakers an opportunity to share with you some tools that have been developed to support SMEs as they contribute to improved nutrition, as well as the organizations that work with and support SMEs within the food systems ecosystem. As we all know, SMEs play a very critical role in improving nutrition within the food systems, especially in low and middle income countries. With this webinar, we have a wide array of speakers who will share with you some great insights on the work that they're doing to promote SME support, and also listen to some of the SMEs who are part of the Scaling Up Nutrition Business Network from various countries. So please sit back and engage with us via our chat and also through the Q&A that you can see at the bottom of the screen. We have a live illustrator with us today who will be sketching through all the salient points that are coming out of the conversation today. So please keep an eye out for that and engage. It's an opportunity for you to interact with other participants who are also joining this session. And without further ado, I will hand you over to the moderator for today, Emily Hennigan, who is the Sun Business Network co-coordinator who sits within the World Food Programme. Thank you very much. Over to you, Emily.
Great. Thank you so much, Udwak. I think I'm very excited to be here with all of you today. And we're going to get straight into it because we only have an hour today for our event. So I'm going to go directly to our first panelist, Effie Chatzin-Nicolau, the program manager for ATNI. Effie, over to you.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the session, and thank you for taking the time to be here with us today. I'm going to talk about a tool that ATNI developed in the past years, the Nutrition Business Monitor tool for small and medium enterprises. And before I go into the details of the tool, I would like to briefly touch upon who is ATNI and what do we do. ATNI is an organization based in the Netherlands, in Utrecht, a non-profit and our mission is to develop and deliver tools that track the contribution of the food and beverage sector to the global malnutrition crisis. We publish a series of indexes that run companies' performance on various aspects of nutrition, but we also develop accountability tools for third parties and bespoke accountability tools depending on needs. The Nutrition Business Monitor tool is one of these tools, but first, we wanted to ask why SMEs need to be included in the fight for malnutrition. I would like to start by saying that SMEs play a crucial role in ensuring the availability and affordability of food for low-income populations, especially in lower and middle-income countries. Specifically, in sub-Saharan Africa, they provide 80% of the total calories consumed, and they supply between 70 and 100% of the food products sold in local markets. They can play a significant role in improving food environment and nutritional outcomes by providing nutritious products into the market. And we believe that development partners such as ATNI and GAIN can play an important role in technically supporting the small and medium enterprises and acting as brokers between stakeholders. Based on this and the expertise of ATNI in developing accountability tools, we decided in 2019, in partnership with GAIN, the Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition, and the Sun Business Network, to develop a voluntary self-assessment tool that assesses SMEs' performance in terms of their nutritional practices and policies. The tool was developed and tested in Nigeria and Bangladesh, and it is an online tool. Here on the left of this slide, you can see the screen that the companies see when they log in a password-protected environment. There are 27 questions to this tool, and the idea is to go through the 5 categories that you can see on the right. So management and products, marketing, workforce programs, labeling, and engagement, for the company to get an idea of how they perform in terms of nutrition in policies, but also practices, and in the availability and affordability of their products. The questions are all automated with multiple choice answers. And once the companies respond to these questions, they get a scoring. As you can see on this slide on the right, there's a total scoring that shows how they performed in the total of questions of the tool, but also scoring per category. The scoring is produced for the companies to get an idea of how they do in each category and also overall, and it's meant to be used for them internally. So it's not a ranking tool, but rather a self-assessment tool. And they also get tailor-made recommendations for each indicator. In the middle screenshot of this slide, you can see, for example, indicator 1.1, which is, do you have a business policy document? And below the text of the recommendation. The recommendations are developed based on an algorithm, so they are linked to the answer options that each company provides. Therefore, once the companies have filled in the tool, they get a document that is tailor-made to the answer options that they gave throughout the tool. And you can see on the left how the cover of this document looks like. I would like to also briefly touch upon the companies that so far have tested the tool. As I mentioned earlier, the company is being tested in Nigeria and Bangladesh. There are 23 companies that tested it in Nigeria and 24 in Bangladesh, as you can see on the table on the right. The companies range from micro SMEs, so from companies that have less than 10 employees, to quite large companies in Bangladesh with more than 250 employees. So we have a range of SMEs. As you can see, the vast majority are in the small, so between 10 and 50 employees. And we also have a range of companies, of types of companies that tested the tool. So manufacturers, retailers, who also have packaged food, and distributors, and a product range that's quite wide. So we looked at edible flours and oils, fresh fruit and vegetables, herb spices, teas, honey, complementary foods, and confectionery. So that's the overall profile. The project is wrapping up in March, so we are currently at the stage of going through the aggregated data, and more information will follow based on the results of the companies. It is important to say that within the framework of the project, we linked the outcomes of the tool to capacity building activities. So you can see here photos from the 2-day trainings that took place in person in Lagos, Nigeria on the left, and in Dhaka, Bangladesh on the right. The thematics of these trainings were identified based on the outcomes and results of the tool. So they were selected as business development and marketing with a focus on nutritious food. So we saw that from the answer of the companies that tested the tool, the gaps were there, and we tried to bridge these gaps by doing a 2-day training. And this gives me a good link to actually the lessons learned that we saw, that we think that it's very important to reflect upon this pilot project and about what we heard from the feedback from the SMEs, which was important in developing this tool as it was designed from scratch. So what was clear, and it came from SMEs, is that companies need personalized advice tailored to their specific needs and further follow-up and support apart from testing. We also saw that one tool cannot be directly applicable to all sizes and types of companies, and there is a need for tailor-made tools based on national context and company portfolios. For this Nutrition Business Monitor tool, there are 2 versions, one for Nigeria and one for Bangladesh, with answer options that are adjusted to national context, as well as recommendations with relevant information to national context, given that, for example, national regulations might vary or national standards. And also it became clear that in order to maximize the impact of the tool, it's not enough to just identify the gaps through the tool and provide further information, but there is also a need for capacity building in different forms, such as technical assistance, but also follow up with companies, as we heard quite often that the access to information and further resources is very important for companies, for SMEs that are just starting up and they want to learn more and exchange with their peers. As next steps, ATNI is planning to publish the toolkit and the final report with the aggregate data in our website. This will take place in the end of Q1 2022, which is when the project is wrapping up. And our aim is to take this tool forward and roll it out with our partners in more countries and have it tested by more companies to see the impact and also contribute to SMEs understanding where they stand in terms of their nutritional practices and policies. I would like to close by inviting all of you in the audience that are interested to reach out to us to learn more about the tool and even get access to it by visiting our website in accesstonutrition.org and by visiting the project page of the NBM tool, where you can also find contact information for us. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'm happy to answer any questions as needed.
Thanks so much, Effie. That's really great. And I think one of the things that is really important, and you've highlighted well, is that when we're working with SMEs, it's important to really sensitize not just around where they are on nutrition, but where they want to go. What does nutrition mean to them? Where do they want to get to with their work and contributions to nutrition, and how they can get there? And I think your tool is an excellent example of how we can really support the businesses that we work with to go from point A to point B. So thank you very much. Next, we will go over to our second presenter, Pilar Santa Coloma, a representative of the FAO Food and Nutrition Division. Pilar.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for being with us today. And thank you, Emily. I am very pleased to present today a very short introduction of a series of 2 e-learning courses FAO has been developing in collaboration with many organizations, including some of them in this meeting, and founded by the Minister of Agriculture, Forestry and Fishery of Japan. Let me share my screen. Some of the slides I will present today just to showcase the course, because it is part of the second course, which has not been yet launched. So the e-learning series has two main courses. The first one is a small and medium enterprises and nutrition, making the business case. It was launched the last July within the frame of the Food System Summit, and is in the FAO website free of charge. It's a public good. This course emphasizes the reason why investing in supporting SMEs to produce healthy food is profitable for the society in general and for the enterprises point of view. The series is addressed to professionals working in the intersection between SME development, sustainable food systems, and nutrition. So mainly SME trainer, SME representative, and policy advisor. The final beneficiaries of the course is SMEs, mainly in the post-production stage of the value chain. So we have aggregators and distributors, food processors, and retailers, with very specific tips and advices to them. In this first course, we offer 9 different business case for investment. And here I present 4 of them: diverse, nutritious food, quality, differentiated food produce, fortified and biofortified foods, healthy processed foods, and food for special dietary needs. Each one of these opportunities for investment have a lot of resources, material to go in deep for those interested in very specific these business case opportunities. This first course, as I say, is also oriented to highlight the benefits for the society in dealing with the nutrition in SMEs. For instance, emphasize issues related to the cost for the society, for the governments in dealing with malnutrition, or how the dealing with nutrition, advances in nutrition will help the countries in reaching the sustainable development goals. Then coming to the second course, which is under preparation, the focus is on upgrading business models, or the specific on the why, on the how to integrate nutrition into business. We use the very well-known business canvas approach, where we have the different building blocks, and each one of the building blocks is represent a lesson. So there are 7 lessons on these all elements of the business canvas, how to integrate nutrition into them. Just appetizer of this, I have here some elements what are highlighted in the course as elements in terms of nutrition sensitive activities that can be inserted to upgrade the business case of SMEs. Just as an example of in the marketing analysis lesson, we highlight, for instance, different customers and segmentation of the markets, including in, for instance, vulnerable population that SMEs may want to address in the business case. So there are different characters that are represented, and there are elements how to deal with attending the needs, specific needs of these customers. Then we have also highlight in the value proposition, for instance, the different type of foods and how they are, what are the characteristics, what are the nutritious characteristics of them, but also how to enhance these quality attributes within the enterprises. Let me go. This is the chapter on activities, which will emphasize the value chain approach. So there are specific advices on how to deal from the production through until the table with the different kind of investments or different kind of opportunities the SMEs have in each one of the steps of the value chain. So that is the very central point in the courses, because there are entry points also for investing in upgrading business cases. Just as an example, we emphasize, for instance, the need to ensure food safety along the value chain. And here I just presented the case of the food manufacturing practice as one of the elements that are very relevant in the course to ensure this food safety. So for each one of the activities within an enterprise, there are specific advices, suggestions how to ensure the quality of food safety, quality and nutritious quality of the food when passing through this process of processing. I would like to say the course relies very much on SME case studies for the real life, so that in that way learners can be inspired by what others are doing, what are the opportunities, how they are doing, and so there are along all the course different examples for the real life to learn from. And finally, I wanted to say this e-learning is part of the results of a project we are implementing, funded by the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries of Japan, as I say, and is implemented in Canada, Vietnam, and had other 2 outputs One is to enhance curriculum in the universities, and the second one is enhance capacities of SMEs through mentoring and coaching to adopt nutrition sensitive business approaches and practices. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you so much, Pilar. I think that was very interesting and informative. And I think to me what's really wonderful about this training that's been developed is really not only does it clearly make the investment case, the business case for nutrition investment to our SMEs, it defines entry points, opportunities, and then it provides the critical information that they need to help overcome challenges and to meet the other needs that they have as they move forward with investing in nutrition. So thank you very much for that. Next, we're going to go to our third and final panelist, our final presenter, Francois Catineau from the GAIN Innovations team. Francois.
Thank you so much. I'm just going to share my screen. Can you see my screen? So hi everyone, my name is Françoise. I am a program assistant for the IFSS portal, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about our portal and what we're doing for SMEs and how it was created. So the Innovative Food System Solution Portal, the IFSS Portal initiative, was launched this year in May as an open effort between multiple groups in the food systems, spanning the field of nutrition, sustainable agricultural development, and environmental health. And so the portal spotlights innovative food system solutions that target reducing malnutrition and restoring the environment in an equitable way, and really aims to be this collaboration space for multiple food system actors to explore different solutions, to find tools and resources, connect funding to SMEs, and discover different opportunities and events. So I'm actually going to share the portal with you and go through a few steps if you were an SME and how you would utilize the different aspects of the portal and its functionalities. So I'm going to switch my screen to the portal. Can you see the portal? Yes. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little story that how I found the portal. So I was working for a startup in Tanzania addressing food wastage from unsold produce. And we were trying to connect smallholder farmers to a market of household consumers. And I found this portal and I was a bit overwhelmed because there's so many different things that we can do. But I started with exploring solutions. So exploring solutions allow you to think about how your business is related to a concept, an innovation of a food system solution. And so you can set by criteria. So I set we were handling storage and transport distribution. Our maturity level was moving to scale. And our SDG target, we tend to centralize around sustainable cities and communities. And so when I searched in our large database, I found urban-rural linkages and food logistics. And after reading a brief introduction of what this meant, the users, the dietary impact, planetary impact, and equity impact, and actually main concerns that we were really struggling with in our business model, I scrolled down to find other examples around the world who are working with a similar solution as we are. And this really inspired me to submit our business onto the portal itself. So this is the submit and join section. And this section is really helpful because you can submit your business as an example, which really helps root the solution in reality and already open up possible investment opportunities. You can add additional resources. So this can come as a project proposal, scientific research paper, business case, and also add yourself as a contact. So you can add your LinkedIn or your email, and this really helps strengthen the community on the portal and network and pitch or either collaborate with other food systems actors who are working with you. So The next section that I want to highlight is our moving to action section, which is really our different tools and resources that we have. This section is really about moving innovations towards actions. And one of our tools that was launched this year is our backcasting tool. And I did this with my team based in Tanzania and in Europe offline. So it can be online and offline. And this really helps you work with a solution and identify actionable steps towards impact by 2030. So it really helps you define the future impact vision and then work backwards. What are the steps? What are the barriers? What are the solutions to these barriers? What are the SDGs involved? And really work with the team. And this is great if multiple food system actors want to work with you, or you just want to work with your team or do it as an individual. And finally, the last section I'm going to highlight is our find funding section. This is especially great for SMEs and young entrepreneurs who want to break down the process of fundraising and approaching investor relationships. So we have a funding guide, and we're going to have different modules. We also have a guide for investment landscape, and this really helps understand the current status of investment in innovation and also the gaps in the food system. And finally, this is my favorite part. This is a database that we have for searching for investors and donors who are actively looking to connect with individuals and groups around the world working on innovative solutions. And we have over 200 different investors and donors. And of course, you can search by criteria. So in summary, I'll quickly go back to my slide deck. Can you see the slide deck? I think so. So this is a summary of what I just went over. The 3 pillars I like to think is, promoting your business, strategizing with your team or different stakeholders, and then really scaling, searching for funding resources and getting in touch with investors and donors. So merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. Contact us, email us, and follow us on LinkedIn. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Francois. It's really wonderful to know that such a rich platform of information and resources is available to to the businesses that we're targeting. Just a quick question, actually, from me, because I don't see anything that hasn't been answered in the Q&A box. How are you disseminating these resources? How are you making sure that the SMEs we're working with or looking to work with across the countries we're targeting are actually aware of this so that they can take advantage of it?
Yes, this is a great question. One of the aspects is that we have many partner organizations working with us who work in many different fields. And so they're a part of our content review and also a part of our emphasis process. We need to add more low and middle income countries. And so we have, for example, the social gastronomy movement, who's thinking more about Latin America and especially in Brazil, and how we can move this tool to make it more online in case there's little bandwidth. So it's really, it's an open effort, and we're collaborating with multiple different organizations because we want to highlight other people's work. That's kind of our goal.
Wonderful. Thanks so much for that. Before we transition to our panelists, I'm actually going to go over to Alejandro, who is our wonderful illustrator for today, to give us a little bit of a snapshot of what he's been sketching out for us during these conversations. Alejandro, over to you.
Hi everyone. Well, I was taking all the notes today. I will have a better big picture at the end of the meeting. But so far, we have been talking about the nutritious business monitor from ATNIS, then the learning modules from FAO, in which we focus on developing training for the SMEs on accountability to nutrition, and then we move to the EFSS portal that tries to join together all the companies that are doing that are involving in the scaling up of the SMEs to nutrition, and also putting together funding. That is a key element, to put together the funding also and the proposal from the SMEs. So far I will finish this, and then I will show you at the end of the meeting. Thank you so much.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. That's really cool, and I'm hoping I might be able to get a little snapshot of my own sketch at the end of the call as well. I think my children would be quite entertained by that. So now we're going actually directly into our panel, and I'm pleased to introduce our speakers for this moderated discussion today. First of all, I'd like to introduce Yemisi Obe. She's the founder and MD of ProThrive Astute Heights Limited in Nigeria. Yasir Arafat. Yasir is the head of strategy and growth for Apon Wellbeing Limited in Bangladesh. And then third, I'd like to introduce Ken Gunsalu, the CEO of NutriCare in Malawi. So we'll dive right in. I'm going to go to Yemisi first. And I have a lot of screens that I'm looking at here, so I'm going to go to my questions. Yemisi, thank you so much for joining us. Really wonderful to see you. Can you start us off by telling us a little bit about your company, and then also to what extent you think the private sector can really be part of the solution to addressing malnutrition, and how, for you, nutrition accountability ties into that? Go ahead.
Thank you so much for having me. Our company is ProThrive Astute Heights Limited. We produce and package fermented corn flour and sorghum flour, which are widely known and eaten in Nigeria as pap, ogi, akamu, cocoa. It's also consumed all over West Africa in one form or the other. Our brand name is Grandiose Pap, and we've been in business since 2015 as food processors. But we didn't understand a lot of the nutrition aspects of food processing until we encountered SBN Gain in 2018 during the Nutri-Pitch program. And since that time, the impact of that program resulted in introducing yellow corn pap, solely by producing it from biofortified vitamin A corn. And then we were linked with suppliers of the grains by Harvest Plus. And since 2018, I tell you, that's what we've been doing. So that program enabled us to understand more about nutrition. So henceforth, since that time, we've always made sure that whatever products we're introducing into the market addresses a particular nutrition gap in our country. Malnutrition, as we all know, is when the body does not get adequate nutrients that it needs to function optimally. And irrespective of your social class or your economic class, you can suffer from malnutrition. So to address or eradicate malnutrition in a society requires concerted efforts from both the government and the private sector. But usually the role of the government is to produce policies and laws, and then give enabling environment for the private sector to do what they know how to do best. So I'll give you an example. Iodized salt in Nigeria. It came up after a series of studies that a lot of Nigerians were becoming iodine deficient. So policies and procedures and laws were promulgated to make sure that whatever salt is being sold to the public was iodized. Now, when the government promulgates the laws and the policies, they can't implement it for the most part. Because if you look at the proportion of the people who are in government to the environment at large, to the society at large, it's just a small proportion. Most of the businesses that provide food for the economy of people in the country, for the population, are usually from the private sector. So it is very, very important that the private sector is always carried along to implement government policies in the eradication of malnutrition. And then also, my understanding about nutrition accountability as our own business is to make sure that our promises, that we make promises to produce nutritious food that identify specific gaps in the populace. And then as well, to make sure that after making those promises, we put in place policies and procedures internally to make sure that whatever activities that we are having within the organization aligns with those promises. And then we also make sure that we set up monitoring tools to say, okay, how many kilograms of biofortified vitamin A corn have we sold this year to how many people? And then we report those through the appropriate channel. In my own opinion, that is what nutrition accountability is. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And I'll come back to you later with some additional questions. But for now, I'd like to go to Yasir. Yasir, your business is not a food producer, but you have a really interesting model that you've put forth. Can you tell us about your business and why putting this solution in place was so important to you? Also, then, did the NBM tool provide any insights that really showed you some ways to improve what you're doing or make the services better? Thank you.
Obviously. Thank you, Emily. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for inviting us here. This is Arafat, and I'm representing Upon Wellbeing Limited, and it's a Bangladeshi startup company. What we do is actually we set up a fair price store inside the factory premises, and that exclusively for the workers. We provide the workers and the employees of the factory up to 10% discount. They can purchase on credit, and also if anyone purchase consecutively for 3 months, then they get health insurance. With the health insurance, they can get up to $200 health benefits. So that's our main model. We were always focusing health, hygiene, and nutrition as a prime component for our business. So whenever is the nutrition coming, it's really matter for the industrial worker in the country. You know, in Bangladesh, the anemia and other kind of problems is huge. And whenever the COVID came, their income got reduces, and basically they have started cutting, taking the nutrition food. So at that time, GAIN and other organizations basically come with Upon, and we started taking this nutrition as the priority. So we have started prototyping. I can recall like just after the COVID, and it was like only 1%, 2% perishable sales at that time. And currently it's contributing more than 20% of total sales as the perishable products. And we basically have a 2,500 product SKU line in our channel, and almost 34% products are nutrition, except the perishable and wet nutrition products. We also have several kind of packaged nutrition products. We have a huge sales on noodles. We have fortified biscuits in our channel. We have fortified yogurt in our channel, which sale is increasing. And obviously this NBM tool help us to take everything on the table. You know, like as a retail company, we used to focus on the sales, but whenever we got this tool, we get chance to think about like how the nutrition can be impactful for this industrial segment with whom we work with. We are gradually increasing our number of stores in the factory and gradually increasing the component for nutrition. GAIN especially helped us with couple of resources during the COVID, and also with a couple of equipments which we are using to sell those perishable goods, which was a remarkable benefit. I can just provide you guys an example is when in a regular time before COVID, we used to sell only 5,000 or around that kind of egg product. But currently, yesterday I was looking at the data, and it's more than 70,000 egg we are selling each month. So that was a huge impact from our sales end. Obviously, considering the impact end, nutrition is being the main component what we are measuring day by day, and the NBM tools and couple of components is helping us even to bargain with our suppliers. So we basically don't produce any product, but we buy from suppliers. So any supplier coming to us, if he has like more nutrition component, we are giving them the priority. That's how we are increasing day by day the product portfolio and the nutrition products position within our portfolio. We have also started monitoring the overall nutrition and the overall sales. Currently, we are operating 20 shops. Maybe within next June, we'll have 48 shops what we are targeting and shoot for. So the impact will be double from our end. So and hopefully this position of nutrition products in Apon channel will increase. That's all from my end. I'd love to go for any questions.
Great, thank you so much, Yasir. And I've noticed that, thank you, Udwak. Udwak posted a video highlighting the work that's being done by Yasir's, the company Yasir works with, if anyone's interested in taking a look. It's really interesting. And I think one of the things we often struggle with is how do we engage retailers in this nutrition space so that we are actually pushing nutritious products out and not just having people go to the shops and find biscuits and this and that perhaps aren't contributing to good nutrition. So I will come back to you with a little bit more, with a question on that later. Ken, would love to hear from you on what you're doing as well. Tell us about the nutrition problem you're trying to solve, and then also how do you think we can better make the case to SMEs to increase their focus on nutrition?
Thank you so much for this opportunity. My name is Ken Gusaro, and I'm the founder of NutriCare Malawi. NutriCare was established in 2017 with an inclusive business model that benefits both the consumers as our customers and farmers as our producers. At NutriCare, we promote nutrition health by selling organic energy drinks in order to maximize agriculture contribution to economic growth while reducing all forms of malnutrition. In Malawi, according to Malawi Demographic Health Survey that was conducted in 2016, results revealed that zinc deficiency is at 60% to 66% across all age groups and sex. And while stunting of under 5 children is at 37%. Mainly, this is because of the current food products that are circulating on the market. Most of them are very low in nutritive value. But when you understand the biological functions of zinc in human body, then you will see that there's a direct link between zinc deficiency and stunting. Zinc is responsible to facilitate cell differentiation, cell metabolism, and cell growth. That means when the body is in deficiency of zinc, there's no or limited cell growth that's resulting into stunting. Then the solution there is provide or make foods that have adequate zinc to be available, affordable, and accessible to the markets or to the communities. This is why NutriCare, we came up with our energy drink that contains zinc up to 2.7 milligrams per 100 grams. And a single bottle of 250 ml contains about 8.1 of zinc. But for NutriCare to remain relevant in the business or to stay sustainable, we recognize 3 factors that are very critical for us. The first one is to reduce production costs. And this can be done by having a granted of affordable and steady supply of high quality ingredients. And the second one is to have an increased demand of nutritious foods. And this can be done by conducting public campaigns for nutritious foods, thus informing our consumers on the benefits of eating healthy foods. And the last one, which is very critical, is to have access to funds in order for us to access investment in automated processing machines in order to meet the demand which is out there. Thank you for listening.
Great, thank you so much, Ken. I think I'm actually going to stick with you and ask, and just go directly to you with an additional question. I know, just reading up on your company a bit, that you do work a lot with women, empowering female smallholder farmers, as well as youth. Would you mind telling us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. For a house to be nutritionally stable, the one who takes care of the kitchen is a mother. So that's why we are working with mothers in order for them to provide the house according to what we are teaching them or what we are helping them to produce. For the youth, you know, that they're very energetic to produce these things at the family level. So we thought it was that if we can combine the youth and the mothers, then we can be in a better position to reduce malnutrition at a household level. Thank you.
Muted. Thank you so much, Ken. That's really, I think really exciting. And I've been to Malawi once a few years back, and it's really lovely. And I think seeing all the great work you're doing there is really impressive. So Yemisi, I'm going back to you now. I'd like to hear from you a little bit more. You talked some about the tools that you've used and some of the trainings that you've gone through. You know, what are some of the additional tools, resources, et cetera, that your company would require to do more within the nutrition space? You've made so much progress. What do you really see as some of the key pieces that could help you push even further towards your mission?
Thank you so much. So one of the major tools that I believe that we still need to use a lot more is the ATNI tool. We had a training last year, and then we've done some work also in in-house training as well. And then also another key thing that we really need to do is to have more suppliers for the biofortified grains. I know that Harvest Plus is doing a lot in that space. They are trying to expand the frontiers of farmers so that we can have more of the corn available for us to process. And then another key point or key area that we also require support is to create more awareness about what biofortification is in Nigeria. A lot of times when you tell people, oh, we're using biofortified corn to produce the maize, they'll say, oh, it's GMO and things like that, you know, to disabuse people's minds about what biofortification is. Thank you.
Okay, great, thank you. And how have you found, just building on what you've said, how have you found uptake of your products? Because we know that there are some hesitancies around issues of GMO and also just personal preference, that, you know, people have what they like. How have you worked around that and worked to really drive demand for your products?
Thank you so much for the question. So what we've done is to make sure we try to like tell people what the advantage of consuming more vitamin A is, especially for nursing mothers who would pass vitamin A on to their babies, and it will help in their development, of their eyes. And then as well, what we've done, because the PAP, because we also have a major competitor in the traditional wet PAP. So what we've done is to make sure that we align our processes too closely to what the traditional PAP tastes like, so that, you know, the objections are are very much reduced. And then in our packaging also, in the packaging material, we're very transparent about what the product contains. So that gives people comfort by the time they come across the product.
Wonderful, thank you so much. And then Yusir, to you. I mean, just learning about the way your model has been really interesting to me, because one of the types of companies that we've struggled to engage as Sun Business Network across many countries is retailers. And you guys are so critical because you're the ones who are really taking the food from the producers like Ken, like Yemisi, and getting it out to people. So I want to hear a little bit more. Just you mentioned how you've really increased sales of products that are contributing to good health and nutrition. What is your approach in terms of driving this consumer demand, in terms of increasing consumer awareness, obviously targeting the factory workers that you support with your shops? What have you done there and how has that benefited your company?
Thank you. Thanks for the question. I think it's really important to know the struggle point of any retailers or someone like dealing in a captive market, low earning people, you know, like the product services mostly being produced for the higher end people. But whenever we are taking a higher end, middle end and lower end product to a shop and reach to the customers, it's really tricky. You know, 1 minute is really valuable in the garments industry. But we have innovatively taken a couple of consumer promotion and also to reach them, couple of approach. One of that is like in every factory there is a PA system. PA system is like a kind of personal audio system where you talk here and everyone will get to know. So we basically bring products or like the product offering and communicate it through the PA system of the factory. That's a common. In many factories currently we are preparing a couple of X banners and other banner communication. We are preparing a leaflet in every month. to provide to the workers and communicate these messages. Let's say for last 6 months, every month we are producing, we are providing offer for egg and providing the leaflet to the customers, and there is a big spillover effect as well. Like if I can reach like 1,000 people, that will spill over to 4,000 or 3,000 people. So that's a plus working in a captive market. But this is really hard when we deal or we partner with the manufacturers. It's like sometimes they don't care about what the nutrition facts are there. So we had to judge that, and internally in our supply chain, we have gradually developed an approach which is helping any suppliers coming in upon to filter out with having some nutrition fact in any of their products. So it might be like the fortified to some extent. To some extent, it not might, but it should have any fortified component whenever it's snacks. That's one approach. And another approach, like we are reducing the sales of ice cream. I'm sorry, I'm telling it like very frankly, but we do this because it's not good for health. So we tell our customers, and we have recently stopped even the discount for purchasing ice creams. So those in those way, basically we are balancing our sales, our triggering our marketing, and bringing out like the more nutrition sales from our customers.
Great, thank you. And I would imagine that the company, the food producers that are selling through your shops are also very excited, because you're really building a market for their products as well outside just your shop. So hopefully they're also seeing them within the marketplace. Then they recognize them. That's really wonderful. I also wanted to just find out, I see we have maybe 2 more minutes. I know that the Nutrition Business Monitor was piloted in Bangladesh. Were you a part of that? And how has that helped you to sort of define your nutrition goals, if so?
So obviously, what I was telling earlier, like it helped us even to take everything regarding nutrition on a table. Our focus was health, hygiene, nutrition, but we never get chance to take nutrition separately and focus on that. So with the engagement of Sun Business Network and the support of local team of the country, it helped us to focus, number one. Number two, to strategize that to bring it to the execution. So I would say that, and whenever we got resources, the accountability, the responsibility to bring some output from that field got increased for us. So I think that was big stuff for us. And finally, whenever we got some support
I think Yasir unfortunately has just
helped us basically for our expansion.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks so much. I think we lost a few of your final words, but we got the gist, and really, really fascinating, very exciting businesses you guys are all working on. I think it's actually time for me to go back to Udwak, so I'm sorry, but I will have to close our panel. It's been so wonderful having all of you here, hearing all of the contributions, the great things you're doing in Malawi, Nigeria, and Bangladesh. And we look forward to continue working with you as the Sun Business Network. So I'm going to go back now to Udwak. Udwak, I see your face on my screen, so wonderful. There you go.
Thank you, Emily. I see we have a question in the Q&A section, which I would like to respond to live. So the question is asking about SMEs supporting nutrition aspect of school feeding, and this participant wants to know if there are any such SMEs, and in what countries and in what regions. So I can quickly share an experience that we've had working with SMEs through the Sun Business Network in Tanzania, where we have supported the government and the private sector to mandate fortified school meals in schools. So Tanzania is an environment where maize meal is widely consumed as a staple. And so we have supported the schools to be more aware of how to improve the nutritional quality of the maize meal, and also supported the private sector to fortify that maize meal and ensure that the students who are consuming those meals have access to a recommended daily allowance of the micronutrients. That was a very inclusive process that included engagement with a wide array of stakeholders, the private sector, government, and civil society organizations as well. The process also involved educating parents of the students about the importance of nutrition, the school itself, and then supporting the businesses, of course. So I hope that answers your question. To be specific on the regions, in Tanzania, we worked in Tanga and Kagera. Great. So thank you, everyone. Thank you to all our panelists and to all our speakers. I will just provide a brief summary of everything that has been said here today before we go back to Alejandro, our illustrator, to show us what he's been able to draw up, visual representation of everything that we've heard here today. So the Nutrition Business Monitor, critical tool in helping SMEs to assess the level to which they are switched on regarding nutrition, how aware are they of nutrition, and how ingrained is nutrition in their business process. And that tool gives an indication of where the business stands and what the business needs to do to go from where it is to where it needs to be as far as being nutrition sensitive is concerned. On the back end of that tool, between the Small Business Network and ATNI, there have been a provision of capacity building, training activities to support the businesses who have tested the tool to help them to improve their nutrition sensitivity. And now for in other contexts where they may not necessarily be an organization that may be providing that capacity building at the end of utilizing the tool, we have the FAO Nutrition Training Module platform that anyone can access anywhere. It looks at it takes a value chain approach in providing information on how to improve nutrition sensitivity for businesses. It's also a tool that can be utilized by educational institutions to improve how students are taught about nutrition and nutrition sensitivity, and also how to be business support providers at the end of the day. So it's a platform that is available, accessible to any user anywhere because it's online, and we've posted the link in the chat. So please do take time to look at these available resources and maximize their potential. And then we went on to listen to Francois, who told us about the innovations portal that looks at the food system holistically. It's a rich resource. It's a resource that can be utilized by business, can be utilized by academia. It's a platform where investors go to look for new ideas on businesses that they can invest in that can make some substantial impact on nutrition and the food system as a whole. So the IFSS portal is a rich resource, can be utilized by innovators, regardless of what stage you're at. You could be at your idea stage, you could be at the stage where you're trying to scale up. It's a place for you to share your ideas and also to learn what others are doing from across the world. If you have a problem, it's a place where you can find a solution. You're looking for investments, it's a place where you can put yourself forward to attract the right kind of investor. And then the backcasting tool helps you to be able to see the entire theory of change. How exactly is your business going to be making impact? And how do you communicate that to make yourself attractive to an investor? Once again, the link to the IFSS portal has been put in the chat. So please have a look. We have heard from our SMEs today who have talked about how critical businesses are in engaging with the process of developing policies for improving nutrition. We've heard from Yasser Arafat about how businesses can make profits and also provide a service. His business sells commodities and also provides access to healthcare. So please, the lessons that we have heard here today are to inspire us. And now I will hand over to Alejandro, who can show us visually what he has been able to capture. Can you increase that a bit?
Yes, I'm going to give me a second.
Yes, it's clear.
Yeah. 1 second. Now it's okay. So I can go through there. So I had to finish the last bits. Basically, I was showing what we have done, showing the first nutrition business monitor, then the learning model in which you can check the information in there. I still have something missed, but I had to put it afterward when we finish. And then also the IEFS portal in which I gather the key information that you already said as well. Just to let you know that it's going to be available for everyone in a time-lapse video and also an image that will be sent to the organization, and they will share it with, I guess, with the participants. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alejandro. So this video will be available to be watched afterwards. We will share with you the resources that have been presented here today. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. I can see we are 2 minutes over time, and I apologize for that. My name is Udwak Igbeka. I'm the Africa Regional Manager for the Scaling Up Nutrition Business Network, and I work for GAIN. Thank you so much, and please do enjoy the rest of your week.